Welcome to E360 TV, the live streaming and on-demand destination for influential voices and enlightened audiences. We offer trending, grassroots, and purpose-driven content across a diverse range of interests. E360 TV is more than just watching programs. We offer the ability to interact with live shows connecting audiences to real, authentic influencers and storytellers while streaming to millions of devices. Real experiences. Raw conversation. One destination for it all. E360 TV.
Hello, hello, hello. I have a question for you. Have you ever felt completely lost? You know, seeking purposeful direction that could and should propel your mission within your divine journey to that next level, but still it hasn't happened. Well, my name is Lauren Michaels Harris, and I'm the founder of P3, the Journey Series. People come to me because they're wounded. Many are scared, and even there are those who are bruised simply because they feel that they are increasingly, for whatever reason, losing their ability to dream. Now, this P3 program is not for a person who's just looking to start a business, no, but rather for those of you out there who have been on your journey and you've been navigating within your divine purpose, but you still desire to elevate to that level that you have not reached yet. If this is appealing, if this describes you, then I want to have a chat with you. I want to hear your story. So use the link below to get registered for your free seat at P3, the Journey Series. And let's get started. One story at a time. I'll see you inside. Click the link. Lord have mercy. I was in there peeking at today's guest bio. I was like, "Ain't she got a lot to say? She sure does." And I'm like, okay, I'm gonna pick a couple things out, Miss Sue, and let her. Y'all know I don't read the whole bios anyway. I don't care if it's that 6 words. I like them to tell you about themselves. Like them young kids say, my nieces, if they kill me with that, I can show you better than I can tell you, Uncle Lauren. Well, show me then. Ain't nobody scared of you, right? Oh, it's a great day in the neighborhood. It is Thursday, the 9th of November, boy. And it's Christmas everywhere. I'm so sick of it already. I ain't lying, but I started shopping. Sure did. I was like, I'm getting ahead of it this year. You all know I was in the hospital over the weekend from Friday night to Sunday. With my little souvenir. You know, I'm just that kid. I got to keep the little souvenir, the little, little arm thing. Yeah, that some kind of bite or scrape or something on my left leg, cellulitis. Woke up that joint Friday looked like an elephant's leg. I thought, whoa, right? Sure did. Ooh, call my doctor. She's like, get on into the emergency room. Well, she said, go to the ED. I'm like, what's that? She said, the emergency department. So I went and they said, oh, you need some antibiotics that you can't get over the counter. And so I stayed, would have come home Saturday, but I apparently got a small fever during the night on Friday. And nope, you got to stay till Sunday. So all went well Saturday night. It's back pretty much back down to normal. No pain or anything, no discoloration, no heat. So thank you, Jesus. Thank you, thank you, thank you. You know, excuse me, sometimes universe, God, everything that's greater than us, they got to do little things to set us down for a minute, take us out of everything. And I'm gonna tell you, oh boy, you're sitting there, and every time they go and do it, they draw blood all during the night, don't give you no rest. I ain't kidding. I'm like, seriously, y'all just gonna keep coming up in here, just whenever you want to, and then you hear people moaning and stuff. Let me tell you, every time they came back and said, "Well, good news." Because you sit there going, what if it's not that? What if, many times people they've gone out and come back and said, well, we kind of found something. I was so grateful. So I said, thank you, God. Thank you, Jesus, for, allowing me to come through this with a warning. I'm feeling like I'm in a season, you guys, where the universe, God they're challenging me to raise my temple. That's exactly how it was put to me. It's time for you to raise your temple. So it's never too late. And we're going to talk about some spirituality today, but in a different way. Many of us today who are finding our way into higher consciousness, if you will, everything from Reiki to NLP to plant medicine, all kinds of different things, right? Most of us got our start in some form of traditional/organized religion. For me, it was Seventh-day Adventism. Went to church on Saturdays, didn't eat black pepper, couldn't read comics, couldn't play pinball machines, better not get caught dancing. Wasn't nothing known as makeup or jewelry, none of that. Today, when I look back on it, there are a lot of things to me, kind of cultish. I was like, So anyway, today we've got Sue WEBLEY here. Now, get ready. Reverend Sue. She's an award-winning ordained minister and an entrepreneur on a mission to encourage, empower, to educate. She is an associate pastor at Rivers of Living Water Ministries, UCC, under the leadership of Senior Pastor Bishop Vanessa M. Brown. See, she is also the National Minister of Young and Young Adult Ministries. Love that. For the Fellowship of Affirming Ministries, also known as TFAM, led by presiding prelate Bishop Yvette Flunda. So, and there's a whole bunch more there. But when I met Sue, Reverend Sue, I immediately was like, dang, you're kind of different. And she is LG. Oh, Lord, I go getting them letters wrong. And I'm in here. That's a shame. LGBT. Well, you know what I mean. The rainbow. Right. They keep adding letters. I'm sorry. Oh, Lord. Us. There it is. So there. So Reverend Sue has not been here before, but I'm sure this is not going to be her last time. So because she's a newbie, a first timer, we put our hearts on the screen. It's our way of virtually getting to our feet, saying, welcome, welcome, welcome. Come on in and pour into us today. Won't you? Here she comes, you guys. Reverend Sue A. WEBLEY. Should we play the what's the middle name game today for a book bundle or a gift card? Susan Ann. No, that's kind of Susan. Put your guess in the comments now. Susan A. What's the A stand for? Alicia. No. Well, first of all, it's hard because how many black Sues you met? I'm serious. I only know one black Sue, Sue Walker, from 7th grade.
Listen, I tell people, we're from Yard, we're from Jamaica, so there's a whole bunch of Susans in Jamaica.
There are a bunch of Susans in Jamaica. Someone else told me. Well, was it you? Did I bring this up when we first met?
Yes.
Okay, so it was you. It was you. So welcome, Reverend Sue.
Child, tell me. Well, yeah, I know Reverend Sue, but Sue's fine.
Sue's good enough?
Yeah.
Okay, because I want to, I ain't trying to get, on the wrong side. It's hard, So you look great. So, okay. Let's talk about your look. Because they want to know. Because talk about how many times people assume, what, she got that Jada Pinkett thing? Maybe she's going through cancer. Or maybe she just chose to shave her head. It's a statement piece. I'm going to dip out for about 60 seconds, let you take it, create a vibe, talk about all of it. Let's get the elephant out of the room. And then we're going to come back and get started about all this great work you're doing.
Okay.
All right. All you, take it away, girl.
Hey, y'all. So I am so excited to be here on Dr. Lauren's show. So hey to everybody. Hey to all of you who are joining from my social media. Thank you for joining us this morning. So about my look. So I do have alopecia.
Okay.
And wore my locks way down my back for many years, and hair started thinning, couldn't hide it anymore. Then started wearing wigs, started rocking wigs. And I felt like I was bound to the wigs, right? I was so ashamed of losing my hair. I was raised that a woman's hair is her crowning glory. And so I felt like I was losing myself, losing my femininity because I was losing my hair. So I walked around with shame for a very long time. And then finally, Christmas Eve, I think it was in 2016 or 2017, I gave myself the gift of freedom and decided to shave off whatever was left. And this is how I've been rocking it. Now I will rock a good hair wrap, and I will rock a wig if I feel like it.
If you feel like
I don't feel bound to the wig. Now,
right.
I don't feel, and I had people when I first started walking around with the bald head. I had people tell me, "Oh, women's head should be covered. Oh, why don't you wear a wig? Oh, you don't look like you don't look like a clergy." Because listen, I'm fat, black. I have tattoos and piercings and a bald head, and I am 100% clergy. So
yeah,
I don't have the look.
And I'm glad you don't, because you know what? Things of the spirit, things that are here to pour into us, to serve us, can't be put inside containers. They're boundless. Joy, love, freedom.
Yeah.
All of those things, none of those things I just named they're not things. They're places.
Yeah.
You see what I mean? And I'm proud of you for doing. That's why I was like, I ain't ashamed. Now you and I didn't talk about that at all the times that we've met so far. I was saving it for the show. And because I think that's the way it's supposed to be. And here we are, members of the LGBTQI plus. There, I got it right for once.
You got it right.
Thank you. Family. And so, of course, we always did know what it felt like to hide and this and the other. So let's talk about your story, your backstory, little origin story. Where'd you grow up? What was the family dynamic like? Were you, I'm sure you were in the church, but was it the same sense of church as it is for you today? Or did you kind of find your niche?
Well, I was raised Mormon.
Oh, so kind of like Seventh-day Adventists. We like that Jehovah's Witness. We all, that's kind of like the cult ones. People refer to, oh, you want them?
Christian
So I was
Science.
raised Mormon. Yeah. Well, we did spend some time at my grandmother, rest her soul, at her church in Brooklyn, New York. And the story that I heard was that they called my mother Jezebel one too many times, and she was like, "Peace out." So she left
You ain't
that
gonna
church.
keep calling me Jezebel. One more. You got one more. Say one more, and I'm out of here. I don't blame her. But wait, let me
Yeah.
ask you something. What is
Mhm.
the main religion in the islands in Jamaica? Is it Catholicism? What is it?
Well, I believe it is Catholicism.
Okay.
I was baptized Catholic when I was a baby. Listen, this is all the stuff. So mom, if you're watching, correct me, okay?
Dang, girl.
Um, uh,
Okay.
so I was baptized, and I can't remember what my Catholic name is. It might be Mary or something. I have no idea.
Mm.
But my grandmother's church was very apostolic, Pentecostal, Caribbean, and it was culture shock kind of when we converted to Mormonism. And so my mom met my stepfather, and he was a Mormon, and so that's how we converted. So I was
You
baptized.
know, y'all got to convert. I bet
Huh?
I could just see him when he told your mom, I love you, girl, and I'll take them kids, but you got to convert now. And then, so how did that come in? Did your mom say, "Oh, how's your day at school, Sue? By the way, you can ready to be a Mormon."
Well, no, I mean there's a conversation. There's no conversation. This is what's happening.
Did you?
This
Okay.
is what's happening.
So how different was Mormonism from what you were used to?
Oh my
What
goodness.
changed? What were the
First
things
of
that
all,
changed? And
I
you're
didn't
like,
see
I can't what?
right. First of all, I didn't see there were a few things. First of all, I didn't see people that looked like me in leadership
What does
at
that
all.
mean?
Okay. I didn't see women
Oh,
or black women
okay.
in leadership, right? Meaning, maybe I'm an evangelist, I'm a preacher, whatever. So the women were, they visited the sick, they took care of the children. I didn't see anyone as an example of where I am in ministry right
Now,
now.
did you see many blacks, period? Because they come walking up the driveway today
Right.
where I live and will give
Yes.
you, and I got to admit, at least we don't drop to the floor. I don't do that anymore, but at my birth mom's house would be like, is that the Jehovah's Witness is coming? Get down. And we had to crawl to the kitchen. Don't let them see you. Right. So, but the Mormons just come, give you this stuff, and they be on their way. I have never seen any African American or people of color, Mormons of color, come and canvassing. So
right, because we go out. The missionaries go out to other locations, so you won't find missionaries from your city in your city. They'll be sent out. Yes, and I remember the first time I saw women missionaries. I had to run them down in the street and be like, "Oh my God, I've never seen this before." This is when I was an adult. I just couldn't believe it.
how
But
old were you, Sue, when you converted?
8.
Okay, go on.
Yeah. So that was the first thing. Didn't really see it was, of course, the worship style was vastly different. It was very everyone was humble. So there was no that,
Right.
none of that. We didn't
You
have
went
any
to
of that.
temple. You didn't go to church. You went,
We
don't
went
they go to temple?
It was more like I didn't. Okay, so there's a whole backstory. I never got to the temple. I left home before I got to the temple. Child.
Oh, you
I
gotta
was able
what
to
you
get
gotta
to the
earn your way
temple.
to the temple?
I took myself out of the running for the temple. I left home.
So wait, everybody can't go to the temple.
No,
Why?
because
Who's the temple for?
there's like rituals, there's things that has to happen for you
Oh,
to
I
be
know
able to
about
go
some of them
through that.
rituals. Well, okay, tell
Yeah,
about this. Talk about this.
yeah. I don't know about the rituals, y'all. So
Okay,
'cause
wait
I
a
left
minute,
home
though.
before.
What'd you say the first time they told you about? Now we're gonna go pray for the dead.
But you know what? I
I
think
know a
at
lot
8 years
about it, don't
old,
I?
that was just ingrained. So that was. I didn't at the time. I didn't have the I guess the critical thinking skills to be like, okay, well, why are we, But I felt that was. I felt that was so sweet, right? To
Yeah.
make sure that those who had gone on before us had the opportunity to receive Jesus.
Yeah.
And so there's my theology has changed and shifted in so many different ways, but
Well,
I thought at the time that was just the sweetest thing, that we were able to stand in the gap for and petition
yes, yes.
for one's life to be
Did
saved.
you ever question why there were so few blacks?
At the time, no, but as I got older, yes. And so, of course,
What,
once I did my research and discovered that supposedly we had the curse of Cain, and that's why we were not allowed to be a part of the Mormon Church. And I
exactly.
forgot what year they kind of shifted their stance on that. But yeah, I think I remember saying to Mom, I said, "Mom, like
We ain't supposed to be here."
we're the
Right.
curse people, right?"
Right.
You know?
Like I have a Book of Mormon, and I had the reason I know a little bit about it is because I had a roommate when I was on the road at 19, or I was 19, he was 20 because he had just come off his mission. And we were on a road version, the traveling version of Cabaret, the show.
Mhm.
And he was telling me, "Oh, I can't wait to get away." Right. This and because he was gay. And his parents were threatening to send him to a conversion therapy place.
Yeah.
This was in the early 90s,
Mhm,
and no, I'm lying. It couldn't have been if I was 80, 90, 90, no, 80s, early
mhm.
80s, early 80s. And so I learned a lot, and I do know some people in the Mormon church who have left the Mormon church, but they are some of the most dedicated, devout people to their walk,
Yeah.
walk. So okay, Sue. So tell people too now where you're sitting, because you're studying divinity,
Mhm.
correct?
Yes. So I'm currently in Ohio at Methodist Theological School of Ohio, finishing up my Master of Divinity degree. And I'm so grateful for places like MTSO that one can go to, whether they're in ministry or not. So if you're on a track to be ordained, it's a good place for you. But if you just want to expand your thinking,
Yeah.
right? And you are willing to deconstruct.
What do you mean by that? What do you mean by that?
You're willing to shed some of your embedded theologies and embedded belief systems, right? To be
Preconceived?
open, yes, preconceived, learned, and embedded. What we come up with, what we grow up with, right?
Yeah.
If you're willing to kind of shed those things, it will just you will achieve enlightenment, right? And be able to kind of speak to some of those issues that you might have questions about, right? And so I recommend for anybody, whether you're in ministry or not, if you're part of a particular, well, I'm going to say the Christian faith system, and you have questions, because many of us are raised not to have questions, which is BS, right? So how else will we learn? But you have questions, you have suspicions, you have all of that. Take a course, man. I mean, do a certificate program. I mean, do it for your benefit.
For your own benefit. So let me ask you, I think I'm so grateful for you today, because it's so rare that I have the opportunity to just dig in and ask these questions, because a lot of times we just assume when it comes to these topics. And so it's great to have someone that can just give us the direct feedback. So I want to ask you this, Sue. Now you had a choice. Now you're on a campus
right now. Yes.
Right.
Yes,
on a campus. So, what was it that made you say, okay, I'm going to the school, I'm gonna live in the dorms, do this thing, as opposed to I'll just get ordained, certified, whatever, online?
Right. So while I'm
Already
already
know
ordained,
the difference later. Huh?
Listen, all y'all listening, I earned my ordination, okay?
That's what we'll talk about that.
Listen, I did the work. I did the work. I did the work in ministry. I did the work with youth, young adults. I did the work administratively. So I served in the church before I ever got a title, and that's really how it should be. But my decision to come on campus, well, one of the things was, like, I know that I learn differently. Right? Mm-hmm. Some people can do asynchronous. I tried it for many years, which is why I'm still, working on my MDiv. And I tried that for, just kind of doing the course online, and it really didn't work for me. And I realized that I need to be in community. I need to be in the classroom. I need to be able to speak to people, to kind of, hey, this is what's coming up for me for this reading. Can we talk about it? Can we unpack it a little bit together? That's how I get understanding. For me, if I'm reading a book, like I know I have to kind of read it to kind of get it. So I learn differently, right? And so that was one of the reasons why I decided to come on campus, because I could have taken the full course online. The second thing was I received a full scholarship for the duration of my program.
Okay.
And it was more beneficial for me just to move to. So I moved to an apartment, a 2-bedroom townhouse on campus. Yeah.
So how many people, like when you're in a lecture or a class, and you have, what's the average amount of students in this program?
Let's see. Well, it depends. You know, a lot of them are still online, right? So we have this hybrid space where folk come in on Zoom. Some of us are in person with the professor, and then we also were able to see and interact with all of the other students. So maybe like 10, 15,
10 or
15.
You know, Okay. So all these people, I'm assuming, are not cut from the same parochial cloth.
No.
You know what I'm saying? You know, they're not from any certain one, like you were Mormon, this one's Pentecostal, blah, blah, blah. They're from all types of religions.
Yeah.
So how do they go about teaching where y'all ain't arguing all the time? Because that's the thing about, I mean, if I imagined having a Thanksgiving dinner with 16 different religions at the table, I can only imagine how, because, you know, I'm not kidding you. Here we go. Here's, for instance, a couple weeks ago, 2 of my nieces were here from Los Angeles visiting, and we always host a dinner here when they come in town, and we decorate for Halloween. Right? We do. We ain't getting TP'd by them kids, right? So yeah, we got all, plus we like it. And so we had the stuff. They walked in. We were in their foyer. They're taking their shoes off. And my niece, Cynthia, hi, Cynthia. She's looking around because they're Seventh-day Adventists still, right? So they're looking around, and she looked over and saw a gnome wrapped like a mummy and went, ooh, demons. Demons. I was like, girl, if you don't take that mess, right? So because, so there it is. Just that fast. That's what I'm talking about. Because immediately I'm on guard. She's on guard, and I'm like, okay, we ain't gonna go there with all this religious, right? So I want to ask you this: when you're moving about all these different people, how is it, as you're learning at a master's level, that you all have great conversation but not arguments? Because a lot of people, we all know there's 2 things they tell you not to talk about with other people: politics and religion.
Yes.
So
yeah,
talk about that. How is it even possible?
So I think, and so last night we had, I don't know if you know who Bishop Colton D. Pearson is, but we had a tribute for him last night on one of the shows that I get to produce in the background. And what he talked about opinions, right? We don't lead with our opinions here because everyone has one. And as Colton, Bishop Colton D. Pearson said, that you know, everybody has one. You know, they're like assholes. Everybody has one.
Everybody has one.
So I think that is part of why we can kind of navigate the space together without argument. We're not leading with our opinions. We are fully aware that we are there to learn, and we are learning together. Many of us are learning things that we never thought we would ever hear about the scriptures, about Jesus, about some of these stories that exist in the biblical text, right? About why, you know, how and why the canon was put together. Things that we were probably raised believing. We are all there to learn, right? Something different. And it's a stretching, right? We're there to be stretched together. Now there's some of us that are here that are this, that say, well, I don't care what knowledge that I'm getting. I'm just here because my goal is to be ordained and I have to complete this assignment or complete this particular track, complete this particular degree so that I'm ordained in my faith tradition.
Yeah.
I'm going to stick to my belief. And I think they do themselves such a disservice when they close themselves off to knowledge, right? I believe in leading from an informed and not ignorant place. And so, yeah, for some people, it's like going your entire life believing that that your parent was your parent and finding out that at the age of 60 that parent wasn't your parent. It's like this jarring, this ripping, but you have to be able to go through the process, and we respect each other. We really do all come from different places here, and we respect each other on this campus, and I think it's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing.
That's awesome. Do you find that you could be forging relationships that you'll have your entire life with some of these folks?
Okay. Oh yeah.
And you hear the dreams of, I'm going to go into the missions, or I'm going to start a church, or I'm going to be a youth program pastor. You hear all these things.
Yeah, I hear. Yeah, definitely.
Okay.
And a lot of them, it's not about just having like ministry and inside of the four walls of the church. Real ministry, real service takes place in community. Right. And so in terms of nonprofit management, and leadership, I mean, there's so many different avenues that you can go with the theological degree. So it's not just the work that you're doing inside of the four walls of the church. Because again, the work takes place in community. The work is not inside the four walls of the church.
So let me just ask, has this ever happened? So you and some of your friends or some of their friends, people that don't know you and stuff, you be sitting around like, oh, this is Sue. Boom, boom, boom. Like, okay, so what y'all want to do next? And then they go, well, I thought we could go to the, oh, and by the way, Sue in the divinity program. Oh, look at the oh, I forgot I got some homework. I'll see y'all, catch y'all later. Is it like, Sue, do you ever feel like you're the proverbial buzzkill? Because people scared to cuss around you. They scared to tell certain off-colored stories.
All right. So I have had that happen. I have had, and I keep talking about I am just Sue. I happen to be clergy. I happen to do the things that I do, but I am Sue at the end of the day. And yes, I will have a good bourbon with you, and you will hear me cuss. Because for me, there's a difference between cussing and cursing.
Right.
And so, and sometimes a good cuss word is the only way to get that point across.
You think? Right. Because I know at times they came in there at 2:00 in the morning talking about time to take some blood. I had to get on my knees, even if it was just here, about 10 minutes later, because I shouldn't have called that woman all them things. I was awake now. When I was sleeping, I was like, so Sue, I want to ask you this. Let's pivot. Let's talk. I'm so interested in this next piece between spiritualism / woo-woo, and do you all as divinity students refer to spiritualism as woo-woo, and what's it like when that enters into the conversation? Not doctrine and this and the other, but when you hear somebody say something about, say, energy healing, Reiki, that kinds of stuff. Are you guys learning about that inside these programs or talking about it at a minimum?
Okay, so at this point right now, we're not learning about it, but I can speak for my church and for the fellowship that TFAM, which I'm a part of.
Shout out to TFAM.
Shout out to TFAM. Shout out to my Bishop Yvette A. Flunder, and shout out to my pastor,
TFAM.
my dear sister.
Thank you.
So one of the things that Bishop Flunder talks about is the concept of being both and, right? You can hold a particular belief system, or let's just say you can be Christian and you can still hold on to the practices of your ancestors. Okay. At the end of the day, it's a part of us, right?
Yeah.
And I believe that all of these things come from the same source, right? This connection with the divine, whoever you call the divine, whatever
Right.
name you call the divine.
Right.
These are practices that you do to connect to the God of your understanding,
That's
to
right.
the divine, of how the divine shows up for you. And no one has the right to tell you that you can't engage with God, Allah, whoever, however you see this higher power. No one gets to tell you that you can't engage with the divine in the way that you know how to do it, right?
Right. Because so
And
many
so Reiki, all of those energy things, when you talk about stones, when you talk about, it's all of that's in the Bible. We talk about stones and incense and all of that, you know, jewels and not the calling down. The word is escaping me right now. But you know, when you call God forth, God, we want your presence. We want you in this place, right? It's the same thing.
download.
It's no different.
Yeah.
But my critique against Christianity is that, you know, we've done a really good job of taking these other practices, these belief systems, assimilating them, changing the name, and then calling it demonic when someone else when we decide that we want to call them one of the orishas, which is like, it's something that's ingrained in us. Like, how do we connect to God before Jesus came along? I'm not saying that, you know, listen, I rocks with that. I rocks with that brown Palestinian Jew. Okay, I rocks with Jesus. Right. But how do we connect? How was God moving? How was God working? How was God connecting with us? How was God blessing us before Jesus came along?
How indeed.
We had a connection to God. And so, you know, I think for the most part, Western Christianity in particular has, you know, kind of served to try to disconnect us from our ways of being, you know, and focusing just on all of the rites and the rituals and the practices and stuff like that of Christianity.
Do you think, Sue, that yeah, because a lot of people, here's the thing, I never could understand, even when I was submerged deep within organized religion, I couldn't understand why, if we all served a higher power, some, you know, Jehovah's Witness. I have a brother in my birth family, Duran, who's Jehovah's Witness, so it's Jehovah for him. It's God for me. It's Jesus for me. It's Father Abraham for me. It's the angels for me. It's I ascribe to greater than all of those creatures and things that God created through the same portal that he created me to be of service to this world and to ease suffering in this world. I refer to them as greater than me. Because I'm going to tell you something, Sue. Even if you lock me in a room full of roaches in the dark and turn on the lights, in that particular moment, when the lights come on, them roaches greater than me. Because I can't move nearly as fast as they just did. So there it is, right? So because I want to be humble.
I think we are frozen a little. Not DeLorean, you're frozen. I see y'all in the chat while we're waiting for Dr. Lauren to come back. Oh, Professor Natasha, good morning. Good morning, Carla. I see some of you have joined in from, hey, Chuck Hunt. I see some of you. Hey, Aunties. I see some of you watching. Listen, I see some of my people watching.
Yes, and thank you, because if the Chicago internet kicks me off, you keep going, because they can
Okay.
hi to all y'all. Right.
So look,
okay. So I ain't even watching on my phone to see if it was one of those messed up faces. When you need to be catching some good ones, you know. So look, let me ask you this: what about this? Because this is the one thing I never liked about organized religion. Everybody thinks that the one they're in is the only one.
Oh yeah. Yeah, that's how we're raised.
Did you hear that question? That
Everyone
statement?
thinks that the one that they're in is
my
the
statement.
only,
Here's what I'm saying.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, is the only one. And then when they start judging, you're doing everything against everything that you claim you stand for. Christ-like, unconditional, all of those things. And so I'm just asking, in your opinion, because you got your fingers on the pulse today, currently, is that getting any better? Which is why I was asking about the different backgrounds all coming together there on campus and through, in your conversations and classes and stuff. Is it still that our way or the highway mentality that a lot of the organized religions carry?
Yeah, if you're still in it. If you are still subscribing to one of those denominations that believe that, it is absolutely the case for you. But a lot of now we have these liberation theologies and these churches that are expanding and becoming more open and affirming and welcoming and inclusive, not just for the LGBTQ plus community, but in terms of thinking, right?
Yes.
The study of the mind, and knowing that yeah, some of those ways and practices that we kind of grew up with and that we engaged in are harmful and not helpful, right? It's bad news and not good news. And so at the end of the day, if my gospel, my version of the gospel, or the way that I practice my faith, or the denomination that I'm connected to, if my denomination is condemning and condemning others, putting other people in hell, not recognizing the rights of other people, or totally against social justice initiatives and all of that, that is not a place that I want to be. If I can't bring my whole self to the church, I don't want to be in the church. God made me in such a marvelous way. God made all of us in such a marvelous way, and we shouldn't have to fracture ourselves. We shouldn't have to leave any pieces of ourselves outside the door to be accepted into your church. Child, I'm like, peace out, because it's not where God wants me. God wants me to live in my fullness, in my full, in my authenticity. I believe that it's an affront to God when you don't show up as your true self. That's an affront to God.
Exactly.
So
why would he have created you as you?
Right.
And he said right there, come as you are.
Come as you are, but they're liars. They're liars because they don't want you to come as you are.
I know.
They want you to come and then
they want you
and then switch up and then assimilate. Listen, God has, I always talk about the Borg. I love Star Trek. And so I always talk about the Borg because everybody knows, those from Star Trek back in the day, one of the, I guess the villains, so to speak, were the Borg. And they went, and assimilated full cities, full planets, right? And everyone was of one mind. There was no thinking for outside of the hive mind, right? That's not the type of relationship that God wants us to have. No. The way God shows up for me and manifests God's self to me, it's not going to be the way that God does for you, because my relationship is personal. My relationship is unique, as is yours, right? And so I'm going to honor how God shows up for you.
Yeah.
And the direction that God moves you and guides you to walk, I have to honor that, because that's your relationship with God. Right now, I also understand that there's some ways of being, because again, we go back to this embedded theology and and things that we don't want to let go of, right? There's things that we want to continue to hold on to and we're too afraid to let go of. There are going to be some ways that God ain't tell you that. God didn't, God didn't tell you to move that way. God didn't tell you to treat that person that way, right? You're asking to let it go to Christ. Yeah, that's not of God, but. For the most part, we have to honor. There's such beauty in diversity, and we have to honor the diverse peoples and the diverse ways of being and the diverse ways that we show up. Right now, God has created us. I think that's a beautiful thing.
What would you say, Sue? First of all, let me ask you this: when you say the words "the church," when you put that out there, let's say there's a blank screen in front of you. Because we all, whatever we refer to that place, that space for ourselves, we see something. When you say the church, do you see the edifice? Do you see the fellowship, the collective? Do you see the Godhead, the Trinity? What do you see when you say the church?
Okay.
What's
So
the
what I see,
image?
the image when I talk about the church, I often see the institution of the church, right?
Okay. Okay.
Because when I'm critiquing, I'm seeing the institution of the
Okay.
church.
Okay.
But the true church is you and I,
Yeah.
right?
Yes.
We are the church,
Yes.
right? And so so there's two ways of me seeing that. If I'm critiquing, that I'm talking about the institution and all of the ways that that
But
institution
in
needs
your
to
own
change and be
walk,
better. But in my own walk, the church is the people, right? The gathering, the congregation. It is us. It is
do
us.
you believe in spiritual gifts?
Yes,
And
I
so
do.
if you encounter someone and you can see, you can feel, you know it through and through to a
Mhm.
cellular level, this one possesses great gifts and they have nothing to do with organized religion. Where do you, what mantle place do you put that person on? Where do they live in your space? Are they in the fold? You know what I mean? Because that's the one thing about Christianity that still bothers me is that people are
Mhm.
so quick to condemn
Oh
somebody.
yeah.
You're gonna burn. This is
Mhm.
how you know. I don't receive that.
Mhm.
You don't get to do that. And so, tell me about that nowadays, because what I
Mhm.
want to get to before we get out of here is that place where we are encouraged by people like you who are saying, people are always going to need a place to get started. All of us that have grown beyond that for whatever reason,
Mhm.
yeah, we
Mhm.
hated the church. I hated God for a while because of the stuff that came through there, but I found my way to what works within my journey.
Yeah.
To It's right here. This is my own business card. But as you see, there's tape on the face end because I got it stuck down because I want to remind myself what I tell the world I stand for. So if you're
Mm.
stuck there, together, let's ease as much suffering in the world as possible. And I
Yeah.
don't have to belong to the this so AME or the so and so Pentecostal or the Lutheran this or the Catholic that.
And and that's the answer to the question, right? So these gifts that we receive, I think in many ways the church has gotten it wrong, or Christianity, right, has gotten it wrong. Like the
Yeah.
gifts that we receive from God are only to be used inside of the orifices of the church, right? Our gifts are for humanity. And so in whatever way we are serving, whether it's in the church or in community, which is the way, again, I'm going to go back to saying that that's where the real work is. The work is in community. You don't have to be a part of any church to do what the divine has created and called you to do.
See how you closed your eyes right there?
So because
Yes.
that is the misconception, right? And
Yes.
so many people are not doing, so
Hmm.
many people are sitting in churches right now, not really living out the fullness of their call because what God has called them to do, they cannot do in the church,
Pew sitters.
right?
They're
And so they're taking the gift, right? They're burying the gift.
burying it.
They're
Hide
burying
it
it.
under a bushel. No, I'm gonna let it shine.
They're burying it because the church has taught them that they can't do they can't sing R&B or they
Right,
can't you know what I'm saying,
right.
they
Stay
can't do
away from
certain
those
things.
ones that are sick, even though you have the antidote to all of the poison.
So you do not, whatever the divine, whatever you believe in your spirit, in your soul, in your heart that you are called to do it, right? Do it. Not, it's not, the gift is not for you, right? The gift is for humanity. You will be blessed because of it, right? But do it. Stop sitting on it. If you're,
Yes,
I love when I tell you, I always big up my pastor because she is so big on whatever God has called you to do it. Right? There are many pastors, right, that I've met along the way
Uh-huh.
that refuse to allow you to do things outside of the church. Right? Do it. Live in your fullness.
That's
The
like
full
being a
bless
nurse and
of
saying only
listen.
help people if they're in the hospital.
Right, right.
If
So
you
yeah.
see somebody fall out at the flea market, better step
Mhm.
over them, because you ain't in the hospital.
Right, right. So
Oh,
yeah, do it. You don't have to be connected to a church. You're already connected to God. Amen. You're already
amen.
connected to the divine, right?
Amen.
And so you move how God, it's what's that song? When I move just like that.
Yep. When
When
he
I
say
move, you
move, I
move.
move just like
Yeah, when
that.
I move, you move just like that. And so yeah, when God moves, you move just like that. And screw
Amen.
what anybody else has to say about it.
And I'm gonna tell you something, Sue. I encourage people, no matter what walk they have, as long as they have one. I always say, Q Olita Adams, get here if you can. I don't care if you took the railway, the trailway, the camel, any of it. Get here. Find yourself something that is greater than yourself. Because the enemy, those things that do not serve us, all fall into that one category as enemy.
Yep.
And the thing is, its primary goal is to always get us to a place where we believe we are alone. That is why we have the promise of two or more. All these things that all the clues that are there for every person's availability. And I say this, I always encourage people that this is where spirituality, religion, I believe we can come together. If nowhere else, I always say this. Today, make a commitment to not just sit in a chair or on a couch or on a bus or in the car, occupying just simple space. Wherever you find yourself, occupy sacred space. When you meet new people, don't just collect great friends, collect blessed friends. And then, when you say I'm gonna create some real fond memories, don't create fond memories. Create divine memories. Because those words belong to all of us. No matter what we call that Godhead, those are the roads to it. Those blessed, sacred, divine, spirit-filled words. I think that is so important. And here's another thing. I encourage people who are within organized religion and spiritualists, just don't go through the motions. When someone says, "Oh, I need some prayer," don't just hit the praying hands and keep it moving. You ain't uttered a syllable. How are you praying for somebody? You're going to put it just because everybody will see it in the thread. You don't have to bend the knee, but you must bow your head or whisper something, because you must mean it for it to be meaningful, full of meaning. So I just would. So what do you feel? What are your hopes? Let me tell you this before you leave this world, Sue. What is it you'd like to change? Where would you like to leave your biggest cup that the world will be able to heal from, grow from, and learn through for thousands of years? Where do you want to leave it? What will it say? What do you feel about that? Because this is a big piece you've bitten off.
This is big. I always tell people I just want to be used up. Whatever it is that God
live
has
full, die empty.
I want to drop left. I want to be all shriveled up like a prune.
Live full, die empty.
Yes, I do want to die empty. But I think in terms of one of the things that I often talk about in terms of religion, specifically, is like faith-based trauma as it pertains to LGBTQ plus people, as it pertains to people who are other. Not just LGBTQ, anyone who is categorized as other. So if you have a different ability, if you have a different ability, if you are, if you have addictions and all of that, anything that's categorized as other. And I want, and that is my dream, for us to move past all of the ritual, all of the dogma, all of these man-made rules and regulation, and really come into agreement with the divine, right?
Yeah.
That we are all from the same source. I talk about the Imago Dei a lot. That I see, the God in me, the image of God that me, I see that in you, and I'm going to have to see that in you. Sometimes even if I don't like you, right? I might not agree with with some of the way your ways of being.
Yes.
But if I start from the place that you are also made in the image of God, then it makes it a little bit easier for me to kind of navigate my dealings, right? And to want to kind of, may not be in full relationship with you, but it helps. It helps. And so again, I want us to get to the place where we can see God in each other.
Yeah. Yeah.
And we can love from each other, and we can look at the suffering of the world and join together and show up for it, right? And do something about it. And not be concerned about the things that serve to separate us. There's a lot of things that divide us, right? A lot of things that divide us, right? But can we pass those things that divide us to really serve each other in the ways that we should, as as humanity?
Right.
So,
Hey,
yeah.
on the screen down there, ticker taping, Facebook, IG, LinkedIn, Twitter, also known as X, you'll see at Sue A. Web. What's that A stand for?
Okay,
Aretha.
Nope.
Oh,
I was trying to see if anybody got it. Let me scroll up. Someone said Alexander. Actually, that's my brother's middle name. So
close, but no cigar.
All right. So I didn't see anybody close. Okay, Mara. Okay, so Lori
Whitney.
and that's close. So
What is it?
Lori should be the one to win something.
So it's Anna.
Well, and it's Angela, and of course my sister is on. She said, Angela, you can't win, sister.
Yeah, trick no good, sister. That's cheating. So okay, Lori Whitney, DM me. You know how, and get me your mailing address. I got something for you. And Sue, I just want to say, you know what? I love hearing stories of people who do things that seem near impossible. You know what I'm saying? It's like I just feel like what you're doing is in one of those categories where teachers that don't get the props that they should get. They don't make the money that they should make, but they're the ones who start us on our way. From the time we're this big, they start us on our way. And that includes usually some form of spiritualism / religion, something that, and I'm so glad to hear that there are those like you and others who are coming together and learning a better way for availability, accessibility for all, diversity and inclusion within religion. Oh, whoever thought, right? So I am just so encouraged. I would love to keep my fingers on the pulse of what you're doing. And if you ever want to, I'm going to tell you this too. If next year, if you want to do some kind of like maybe with some of your fellow students that come from all these different walks of life, a 90-minute television special talking about where religion is headed in the 21st century. I would love to moderate something like that. So if that's ever something you want to do, you let me know. Okay.
Right, let's talk about
it. You guys get to Facebook, IG, LinkedIn, and X, and check out all things Sue A. WEBLEY, Angela. And listen, I am so grateful to all of you all for making this possible. If you're here for the first time, I hope it's not your last. You are now a member of this family, and I wouldn't have it any other way. I wouldn't want to do it without you. Listen, for all of you out there, God willing, I won't be here tomorrow. I have to take my husband to a procedure that he has to have, and he can't drive from it. So I have to take him. So D. Grant Smith, who is on every month for our Ask the Experts show, is going to be my stand-in tomorrow. Our guest will be Robert A. Lane. He's one of my coaching clients. He's an audiobook coach. And Saturday, we have a 90-minute television special. If you have a book that you've written and it's kind of withered on the vine, it's nonfiction, and you'd like to blow some life, breathe some life back into it, come to this 90-minute special Saturday, all about how to turn your book into an audiobook. You're going to be shocked at how easy it is now. So there it is. Sue, thank you. You guys, I will be back, God willing, Monday. Hopefully I won't spend a weekend in the hospital again. Thank you, Jesus.
Wait, tell them to join you on Saturday on my show.
Oh, yeah. Tell them. Yeah, it's on my page, but Sue, tell them. I'm on your show Saturday.
Yes. So Saturday morning, I want you to join me over on my pages for Inspire. And so Dr. Lauren is going to come hang out with me. And so we're going to talk all about his life and his journey. And so I want you to come over and join us.
I can't wait.
Saturday morning, 10 a.m. Eastern, 9 Central, was it 7 Pacific? Right early in the morning.
Right. We'll see you guys there. So we'll see you Saturday, okay? Get out of here. Find your highest self today. I don't care what you got to do it. And as you go out there, remember, I love you. And there ain't a damn thing you can do about it. See you later. Have a great day. Bye. Great job, Sue.
Thank you.
Show me your soul. Baby, I'll show you mine. Show me your soul. Honey, it's way past time. How expensive do I have to be? Need I spell it out before you get it, baby? Show me your soul. And honey, I'll show you mine. I'll show you mine. Boy, I'm standing right here holding up a sign.